This is Ominous for Responsible Gaming and Ominous Designs episode 156. Call this one Planar Chaos. Oh look, I had my little hand. I wanted to say hi. 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 I love this thing. Hi. It's awful. That's it. Planar Chaos because one of the designs, and actually the only designs that I have sort of ready tonight, is a kind of a color shifted, not, well, so Planar Chaos, if you don't know, was an edition from a set where everything was going bonkers, and Planar Chaos itself was had a lot of cards that were either changed, inspired by a card but changing the color, or straight up the exact card that exists but in another color. It was crazy. Sierra Angel exists in blue in Planar Chaos. Yes, it does. Arrogant Worm exists in red, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, so we're gonna do the color twisted one. And the fun bit is I have one and I have no idea which one I'm going to twist afterwards, but we'll figure it out. So we're going to go black. That's what we're doing now. We're going black, I think, because the design is something along the lines of, actually, let me show you. You can see it, it's normal. It's expected. Gatherer. Managorger Hydra is what we're gonna try and twist. But like I said, it's not gonna be a one-for-one, so it's mostly gonna be kind of like inspired and twisted. So the way it's gonna work is, where am I? I'm here. So I want to try and make a creature that's gonna get downsize. Actually, let me look for another card, because I know one of them actually exists, and potentially more. In all fairness, I think similar cards might even exist in black that I can't remember of, that I can't think of, that I can't remember about. So the Fire Cat over here is a 7/7 trampler, but every time you tap a land for mana, you remove a counter from him, and so it's a 7/7 trample for 5, which is fun. But let's see if we can do something that resembles the Hydra. Yeah. So our guy would be a 1/1, and you know, we'll see if that still applies, but earlier on I was thinking about this design, and I was thinking, how about you give him Death Touch so that it can still be an excellent, well, like a pretty sweet card, for which we're gonna try and make it so I'm thinking he's gonna lose +1/+1 counters for a variety of reasons. So if we lose counters, we can make him so that if he loses everything, he can still be a 1/1 Death Touch, and I think that's fun. It makes it also more nasty as a big creature, because even though you know, you tend to think that Death Touching is not useful on big creatures, there's still this thing where you cannot put, let's say, if you put 2 4/4s in front of a 6/6 Death Touch, you're still losing pretty big. You know, things like that. It's pretty uncommon, but there is some combinations of numbers that are slightly more possible, especially since our creature is going to be going through all of those sizes in order, because it's going to diminish. So basically, you would say something like that. Enters the battlefield with, I have no idea, 6+1/+1 counters on it. Whenever a player, so it's cast a spell. Let me see. What did I mana for Yeah. Whenever a player casts a spell, I'm just gonna do that. Whenever a player casts a spell, remove a +1/+1 counter from what's his face. This is 6 like this? I don't know. Is it? Probably. Okay, so first, how black is this? A creature that just diminishes and diminishes. I don't know. There has to be plenty of creatures that diminish. The problem being that it's hard to look for them because they're not all going to be saying remove a +1 counter from that creature, especially the ones that don't make you use those +1 counters, but the ones that just makes it so that the creature gets weaker and weaker when something happens, when it fights, when a creature enters the battlefield, when X, Y, and Z. Those might not have +1 counters that get taken away. Maybe instead they gets -/- for each something, you know, or -1 and -1 counters are put on them, especially if they're from those sets, Lorwyn, etc., that used a lot of them. Now the downside as well with the +1 counters is if you move the +1 counters, it's a problem, and if you blink the creature, you get your +1s. But blinking, like if you play with counters, blinking is always gonna put you back where you were. Still, I'm not sure. Maybe I should just do away with the death touch idea and just add -1/-1 counters on that creature. Usually I don't love playing with -1/-1 counters though, because they are the -1/-1 counters they're gonna eat design space, and it's very hard to impossible to have +1/+1 counters and -1/-1 counters in the same edition. And also it's actually a bit of a combo with Melira that's gonna say your creatures cannot have -1/-1 counters on them, and then you're gonna have a 8/8 for 5 that I create that's gonna say put -1 counters on them all the time, except you never do it. So, which is not the biggest downside. You can have a combo with Melira. Melira has freaking infinite combos with 3 drops, so not the worst. A lot of the thing also with the -1/-1 counters is that, for one, you don't need this line of text, which is sweet. And for 2, -1 counters are so much blacker. Not that I needed it to be black, but yeah, let's just do that. Just do -1s. And put a -1, whoops. And the touch can still be a thing, because it makes your creature still relevant when it's going down and is about to die, even though it's still not going to be prevented from dying. I think this might still be okay. Now let's see what else. Well, what else is the balance, right? So, whoops, lost my window. Balancing. What can you get that's gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller? Question being, where do you start? One thing that would be tempting is to start at the same point as the Managorger Hydra to have a little bit of a callback, which means 2 and a black, and 2 and a black that diminishes over and over and over. I think maybe 6/6. So, worst case scenario ever. Your opponent is completely stuck and does not cast spells. You have dropped this for 3. You attack with it, and well, no, you drop this. Their turn, they don't do anything, and you attack on turn 4 with a 6/6. It is not the worst still, I don't think. And it still implies that your opponent has missed their turn 3, which is pretty bad. And then from there on, it's downwards, right? Like the thing with that creature is that a couple chumps and the creature will have done nothing, you know. So I don't know. It's probably developmentally very tricky to create, because it's such a weird card, and there's still probably ways of countering it. I mean, if anything, the Melira combo is still way strong right here. Turn 2 Melira, turn 3 6/6 forever. Bit of a problem. Maybe I underestimated the Melira combo. This is a little... I mean... Modern decks, because that's what we're talking about, I don't know if they want to bother with creature based decks that don't have any evasion. Is Melira a legendary? See, I don't love this part of the I don't love this part of development, I guess. I mean, I don't love many parts of development anyways. She's legendary. Okay. We could imagine making our non-Hydra a legendary as well, but I don't like that. I don't know. I mean, this is still a dummy 6/6 with no evasion and no protection. Like, it's, I mean, I'm sorry, but chomped dies to Doomblade, or just dies to Doomblade. But at least you can block it while you're at it, like for a turn or two. I don't feel like people want to combo with Melira just to have a 6/6 dead touch that only costed them 3 mana. I don't think so. Some people will do it, but I don't know. I mean, the problem is Melira is a good card in the toolbox deck potentially, but she was mostly excellent in that thing, Birthing Pod, that I know of. She was mostly very good there. I mean, I guess there's probably some decks with like Chords and maybe not Green Sun, but at least Chords that try and use the Melira combo. But still, like, if you want to combo 2 cards and what you get is a 6/6 dead touch for cheap, I don't think I'm outraged. So I'll put this one out there and gather whatever insults are coming my way. I wanna go fast because tonight I will eat, and also I don't know what is the next card. So I think we can try and get away with this card. In limited, it's gonna be pretty hard to make happen, even though I don't really know how hard. Like, it's still putting a nice amount of pressure on your enemy. They cannot really double block. I mean, they can double block, but you got a 2-for-1. You might have forced yourself to not play spells to keep your guy big, so it's a bit of a problem. But you also have put pressure on your enemy. Well, no, I mean, they want to cast spells anyways. If they cast 2 spells, you find yourself with a 4/4, and it kind of sucks. Yeah, it's really hard to evaluate. Well, that being said, if they cast 2 spells, well, no, it does suck. I was gonna say, if they cast 2 spells, you find yourself with a 4/4 Death Touch for 3, but it's also a 4/4 Death Touch for 3 that's gonna just self-destruct the turn after that, or almost. Then again, if you're on the play, they have to play 2 spells on 3 mana, and even if they have to play 2 spells on 4 mana, it's not fantastic. Either way, I'm gonna pretend it's a possibility over here. I could be nuts and push it to 7 because I think in limited it might be better. Then again, we get into the realm where if your opponent indeed doesn't have a play on turn 3, you bash them in the face with a 7/7, and it's pretty bad feeling. So I'm gonna stick to 6/6, and I'm gonna say it's possibly not that great. If I didn't hate the asymmetry, I could do something like that, for example, but that's just gonna give me twitches. We tried. I'm not completely thrilled, but yeah, we tried. So what I think we can do for the next one that we're gonna color shift, since I don't know what at all, how about we just go random card? Problem being that we're gonna need to hit random card until we hit something. Oh, look at that, Whisperwood. How could you shift Whisperwood? I was gonna say, I don't know if I finished my thought. We need to hit random until we find something that's famous, so that when you color shift it, people actually notice. Whisperwood could be fun. But we will have to kind of... No, I guess Manifest was in a bunch of colors, wasn't it? It was in all colors even. Do we want to try and do... Well, what's the ability? Whisper Elemental, sacrifice until end of turn, face up. Non-target creature you control gain when this creature dies, manifest the top card of your library. Okay. Sure. Hey, why don't we? Why don't we? So what I think would be fun, I don't know why at all, it just hit me. I think it was just random inspiration. But what if we had some sort of Whisperwood Dragon? Yeah, Dragon of the Wood, why not? So I don't know how much exactly right now. I'm gonna start with a base of 4/4 flying. And so the Whisperwood Elemental gives you beginning of your end step manifest. It's not very red to get one manifest every turn, is it? Like creating creatures after creatures is not a red thing to do. It's kind of unfortunate. So there's one thing that I could do is whenever a red source you control deals damage to a player, manifest the that's a thing. That could be a thing. But then, so what I would want is also to have a second ability that says something. So sacrifice this guy. And I was trying to find a way to make the second ability into Wrath, because the first one is actually kind of an anti-Wrath. And like my idea would be something like this. I don't know if that's way too weird. So until end of turn, let's see. Face up non-token creature. Face up non-token creatures you control. So weird. Until end of turn, colorless, because I want to do the opposite, and because there is a little bit of a reason. Colorless creatures you control gain when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. No. That's my story. So when each creature dies, it deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. So very quickly, I'm gonna check Earthquake. I don't know if that changes, but do you mention creature to each creature and each player? Well, apparently. So that would make it so that you sacrifice your dragon. I mean, it's a lot, but it's a wrath after all. Like, it's kind of too bad that you need to sacrifice your dragon to create a wrath, while the other card was sacrificing your Whisperwood to survive a wrath, which means you keep a lot of stuff. This guy says, you just destroy everything. But it also says you're gonna do a bunch of extra damage, which is good. And by default, he says he might be okay at. Oh, I meant to do 6 anyways to begin with. But he also says anytime you hit a player, you get another 2/2, which is. Oh, it's a red source. Oh, smart. So that means the manifests are not going to compound, but that means you can burn your enemy and you can attack your enemy and you can make 2/2s. And quickly, the thing you have to understand is this can get out of hand really bad, really quick, because if you have 2 manifest creatures and you find a way to just get rid of them, you just throw them. Well, no, actually, you need actually 3 or 4, but you can just manage to kill 2 of them, and then they're gonna start piling damage, kill the other ones, and all of a sudden you have a wrath plus 4 or 5 damage to all players. But it's true that you need to create like 4 or maybe 3 before you can actually transform that into a wrath. Might still be okay. I think if I wanted to balance this as a fantastic standard playable rare and actually modern playable rare as a Whisperwood Elemental, I would probably have to try long and hard. Though, I mean, when you look at this card, you got to be thinking, how much do they want to pack in that thing? So it is possible that I just take my design and just push it like a bunch, and come on, give me my screen, and it actually will have the same power level. For example, say I don't do anything and I just leave this somewhat restrained. I leave the red source, which means I'm gonna have only that many manifest cards, and I leave the fact that only my colorless creatures deal damage when they die, which is debatable. But then I just take this guy and I put it like 5 mana 4/4 flyer, create a bunch of manifest guys. This is what I call being pushed. This is probably too pushed, because even as a silly, 4/4 dragon for 5, it's still creating a bunch of 2/2s every time you hit your opponent. At the bare minimum. This ability, you really have to build around it, or at least build the game that you're into right now around it to get something out of it. But I could see that this also could create some kind of stupid combo. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, this is potentially constructed playable somehow. This most definitely isn't. I can't really imagine a 4/4 flyer, even though you can create a bunch of 2/2s, unless there is actually a combo that would actually go somewhere. There's a chance that we would have to do something else about for the condition to create the manifest, but I can't really think of many of them that would feel red, is the thing. Yeah, red doesn't have a ton of ways to trigger, does it? You could like do mountain enters the battlefield. It's fine, but mountain enters the battlefield is also very close to strictly inferior, extremely close to strictly inferior to the one of Whisperwood Elemental, because Whisperwood Elemental is every single goddamn turn. This one certainly isn't. There is tricks to put more than one mountain on the battlefield, but they're certainly not the common case. So it kind of bothers me to have a strictly inferior trigger. So yeah. When you think. I think it's fine. I think it's gonna be a pretty goddamn good limited rare again. Yeah, I would have to take a couple hours, or just think about it throughout the day, I think, to find a better solution to this. And actually, I'm touching on a problem that I hit in this show is, one, we know that we don't have a lot of time, but two, we usually don't want to be like I guess red really doesn't do it, and we scrap the entire thing we've been doing for 30 minutes and come up with a card that's completely different from what we started designing, just because we don't want to spend 5 hours on this show. So it feels better to say, hey, I'm gonna do a red Whisperwood Dragon and then make it as well as we can in like 20 minutes. I think it's plausible. It's probably not very valuable. It would probably make either I miss something and it's busted, or it's gonna make a limited rare and maybe a commander card. Probably be a fine commander card actually, because red sources dealing damage. You're gonna have a million of manifests. You're gonna turn them into creatures because you have lots of mana, and whenever you need, you can also have a wrath board at the same time. Actually, commander might find this extremely fun. So I think that's the reason why we're gonna say it's an amazing card. And this and our weird Managorger Hydra will be the cards of the week. I didn't mention that this is an early episode on Monday because I'm busy tomorrow. So the article and all the postings will still happen on Wednesday. Gonna find some sweet names and flavors and whatnots for those cards, and I will be posting them on Facebook, Twitter, and etc. I'll post the video whenever, I'm not sure. I'll cut the highlight on Twitch soon, and probably post the video on YouTube one day earlier as well, possibly today or tomorrow. But definitely the articles and the post on Reddit slash custom magic, one word obviously. Do check it out, and very cool subreddit. Tell me everything you thought about those cards. Give me your feedback. I'll get plenty on Reddit and on my designer groups, but I want yours. Yours is the one that matters. So do tell me, like and subscribe. I'll see you next week for 157, mind you. And that's all I have to say for now. Alright, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you next week, and play responsibly.